Hello guys, and welcome back to the Musings of Maverick channel. I'm your host Maverick, and today we're going to be watching the finale of Kenja no Mago. So, it's been a relatively fun ride so far, over these past 11 episodes. You know, this is definitely not a masterpiece or anything, but it's had its moments, right? And now we're going to go into the big final showdown with Shotorum and his group of demonoids, the close subordinates to him, right? So apparently this is actually a original story from some viewers' comments from the last episode. It seems that this is actually going a different direction than what the light novel actually has. Normally, I don't like this kind of decision making, this kind of diversion, because for one, I feel like it's not really showcasing the original work in all its glory. It's not respecting the original work, and second of all, because it also shows that maybe both the publishing team and the animation team, or people in charge of monetizing this, don't really believe that they can create another season for it, right? So that's why I just want to cash in on this one season. So I don't really like this kind of adaptation, but it is what it is, right? What can we do about it? So, anyways, last episode, we got the Ultimate Magicians basically kicking ass and exterminating a group of rogue demonoids, right? Now, unfortunately, this also meant that we didn't really get to see any big action. It was more like just go, 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 go. Not really the thing that I was looking for. This one, I hope that they have one big epic fight between you know, Shin's group and Shotorum's group, right? One big final fight to end this series, and that would be all I hope for this work. And let's see if that actually proves to be true. Alrighty, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. They gotta give her some singing time. Ooh. This looks pretty fatal. This is Melia, right? So, yeah, that's pretty obvious. Oh, she can also use no chant magic? Yeah, and of course we skip the opening. Nice. Ooh. Huh. So she's using a similar power to them. Dang. Maybe, yeah, maybe they have equal amounts of magic power, but they're definitely not uh, trained in actual combat, right? There's still so many remnants. Oh. Are you gonna destroy the... Okay. Oh! Dang. Dang, she is strong. Wow. Nice. Yeah. This is someone who really knows how to combat. Yeah. Time for the adults to play. Oh, dang. Dang. That is a whole nother level. And they've escaped, right? Nice. That's the difference in experience. Well, actually, to be fair, probably a difference in power as well. Wasn't he there last episode? No. Shodom's just like, ah, so interesting. Should you really be talking like that to someone who almost killed you, Shodom? Too many? It's hard. Yeah, this one is... There has to be a limit to what healing magic can do. What? I mean, you can't possibly Really? With superior magic skills? Like performing surgery? Ah. Shishiri's hurt. Hmm. Oh, that was convenient. But I guess, alright, fine. They couldn't keep the emotional scene for too long. So she's now gonna be called Saint... Saint Cicelyne? Uh...
一つは帝国襲撃の際に確認された魔物たちがいなかった点。
Well, I mean, he could be planning to take over this country and so probing their defenses, right? I mean, yeah, you're smart to infer all this, but I'm just saying that you can also look at this logically, and it would still work out. Hmm. He has the authority to just do this, just like that. They really waste no time, do they? True. So he's gonna go to all the different places. Hmm? What? Oh, okay. I wonder whose is larger, May's or Sicily's? Hmm. So they're forming an alliance against the demonoids. Does this also mean that Shin is going to be... What? True. Hmm. Well, you made it that way. Oh. He's totally banging her. I guess demonoids can't create children. They can't procreate. So they want to see if that works. Okay. Waste no time, huh? And in different colors as well? Oh my god. And you're seriously gonna carry her all the way? Yeah, she's quite cute. Alright. Yeah, I think that's about it, but there's maybe a little bit more. If there is, I'll see you guys again. If not, I'll see you guys during the review part. And hey, what do you know, there is actually quite a little bit after the ending song. So let's watch this together in 3, 2, 1, play. Ah, peace and tranquility. These two. Oh. Okay, so they just travel to however far they want and then just gate back to sleep. Ah, that's pretty funny. Alright. Comedy all the way to the end. And there we go, the ending, the finale of Kenja no Mago. So it stayed true to its comedic roots at the very end, right? All the way to the very end, where it ended on a humorous tone, and that I can appreciate. So let's talk about this episode first. So first of all, finally we get the actual good action, which we've always saw hints of since the first 2 episodes of this series, right? When it wants to, it can absolutely be very joyful to watch with its animation style and whatnot, with the cool effects, the particles and whatnot. You know, it's nice, right? So even though I didn't quite get the huge epic fight that I wanted, the huge long epic fight between Shodorum and then also Milia and then Shin and all the others, but at least we saw some glimpses of it, right? And at least it's at a it's an acceptable length this time, right? Especially with the moves that Milia pulled out on the rest of the Ultimate Magicians. I did enjoy that part very much. And Shin had some of his moves of his own as well, right? Including that giant laser beam thingy. So, if you guys notice, the animation for the magic is way different from the animation of the other stuff. I don't think it's quite CGI, but it's definitely of higher quality than the normal animation, let's just say. So that was indeed a joy to watch. And Milia, she is badass. Like, the action scenes really seemed fluid, and you know, it's nice because we're also sort of being told that Milia is a trained fighter, right? So she doesn't waste any movement. She does all attacks in consecutive she does consecutive attacks, right? She doesn't have, unlike the other ultimate magicians, which, you know, they hang around or loiter around a bit after they launch their attack. She just goes plop, 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 right? No space, no time in between. She is someone to be feared. And that ultimate magic, or not ultimate magic, but that area of effect magic that she did at the very end, if Shin wasn't there, there would probably be some casualties, right? So, it makes one wonder, like, did Shotorum actually also hold back when he was fighting against Shin? So maybe he was a little bit too overconfident, so he held back, and so that's why he almost narrowly died to Shin. I'm guessing that's part of the case, right? Because by all means, it seems that Shotorum is at least a few levels higher than Milia, and Milia is already pretty strong in her own right. So yeah, there we go. But anyways, I truly enjoyed the action scenes within this episode. So then we go to, you know, Sicily's scene and the whole healing part. I did appreciate them for putting in, especially at the very end, the sort of more emotional reaction of Sicily. I thought it was actually going to go for a bit longer. If this was a normal anime, she would probably spend maybe one episode moping around and finally resolved in the next one, right? Maybe be down in the dumps, maybe be starting to self-doubt, doubt her existence, doubt her worth and value and whatnot, and that would probably be a small mini story in of itself. We didn't really get that here. I mean, for one, it's time constraints. For two, maybe it doesn't really fit the tone of the anime, right? This is a more lighthearted, happy, action-focused anime. So, but it was nice that they tried to do something with it, if you will. Although, honestly, if you are going to do it, then just do it right. Here, it felt like they wanted to do something with it, but then there was this whole, you know, Saint Sicily scene at the very end. Then I would have preferred if they didn't have it at all, right? If you're gonna try to do an emotional scene to show character growth or something, then do it right. So this part, I'm more lukewarm towards. And then we get to, you know, August, his sort of, you know, his sort of predictions or his sort of thought process on what exactly Shotorum is doing and whatnot. I mean, I guess it's, you know, we as viewers, we know what's going on, right? So it's easy to look at that and say, hey, look, August is so smart. Or as was already shown before in previous episodes, right? They don't really beat around the bush going on false leads. They immediately know what's up and try to recidify the situation, right? Especially in the beginning episodes where the guards caught Shotorum, right? So they aren't stupid here. But at the same time, I feel like this one was a bit of a logic leap. As I was saying within the episode, it's entirely reasonable that Shotorum wanted to send out a advanced scout force or some expendables to test out the strength of the defenses for this nation, right? And maybe prep for an actual invasion later. You know, that's entirely plausible. Or maybe he really did feel that, you know, just those amount of demonoids would be enough to wreak havoc and, you know, gain something from this kind of attack. Or, yeah, so basically, I guess it doesn't really matter in the end anyways. I'm just saying that there was a bit of logic leap there that's a little bit illogical if we're just running by the knowledge that the characters within the universe already know. And then so they also end with the alliance, and I guess that ties into the next arc of the story. Again, I haven't read the light novel, so I'm not sure how far it deviates from the original story, because Shotorum at the end didn't really show up as well, right? He didn't actually participate. He only, you know, observed, if you will. So, but anyways, if they do eventually do a second season, maybe this is where we'll pick up. Otherwise, it's nice that it's there, I guess. And of course, finally, again, the humor scenes at the very end, right? So going back to its roots, that is a good thing because honestly, the highlights for this series as a whole is really in its comedy and its action, right? It's definitely not for its deep story, if you will. So, since we're on the topic of that, I've already talked about this episode, so what do I feel about this series as a whole, right? So, as I mentioned at the very beginning, this is definitely not a masterpiece, and we shouldn't be looking at this work this way. At least for this adaptation, anyways. The animation quality, except for the action scenes, is pretty meh for the most part. The voice actors, a lot of them are fairly new or inexperienced, and it really shows within their dubbing of the lines. Some of it just feels completely unnatural, and some of you can tell that they are relatively inexperienced, right? So that's that. And as I said, the story itself, really, it's not some deep story, if you will, right? That's not the point of this anime, but I feel like we should look at it for what it is. We don't have to have a compelling, complete, or emotional story for every single anime. Some anime is just there to be watched and enjoyed as its own, as it is, right? That's why people like to watch slice of lives as well, or rom-coms. It's not for any specific deep story. It's just to gain entertainment and enjoyment out of it. And as I said, the humor here, even though the first episodes were a bit shaky, I think it eventually, caught its pacing, caught its footing, and, I did enjoy it, right? I did feel like a lot of the humor was funny, at least to me, but then again, I like Gintama's over-the-top humor style, so something like what they're doing here is right up my alley, right? So this may be a personal preference difference, but at least I really enjoyed the humor exhibited here in this work. And the action, when it actually does show, get serious with its action, is a joy to watch as well. Right up there with all the other action-packed animes that, people normally cite, if you will. Sadly, this did not happen nearly often enough. If they would have maybe added a bit more of the action scenes and whatnot, I feel like this anime would have really become a powerhouse for this season. As it stands, I guess it's okay. It's okay with a few highlights here and there, if you will. So, and of course, it's nice that we have a confirmed relationship between the male lead and female lead this early on into the actual anime, right? And so they can all be lovey-dovey, and we don't need to be wonder when exactly they're gonna get together, right? So that is all taken care of. And really, the pacing, this again is sort of like a personal preference between different people. Some people feel like the pacing for this anime is way too fast. They're not really giving some time to explain all the things. But for me, actually, I like it for this anime. If you're not going to concentrate on the story and you're not focused on trying to make a very comprehensive and compelling story, that's okay. Then just move it on, right? Just move it and keep the things interesting, keep things fresh. So in this kind of scenario, in this kind of situation, I would say the fast pacing is doing it favors instead. Of course, like I said, if you're here for the story, then you're already coming to the wrong place. Like, let's be honest here. But for what it is, I'd have to say I quite enjoyed this anime. So, there we go. I actually do hope that this one has a season 2, and if it does, I will definitely watch as well. Although, again, if they do a season 2, then hopefully they will put a little bit more effort into it, if you will. But I do feel like this work is compelling. Am I going to watch the light novel? Read the light novel or something? I don't know. I feel like this kind of humor is nice in an animation style. I'm not really sure if it translates that well into text form. But then again, some people have told me that the actual light novel is actually a much more serious work and different from what is being portrayed here. So that's a possibility as well. I don't know. It'll depend, right? I don't really have that much time to watch all the different things. But at least for this anime, I enjoyed it for what it was. And really, that's the most important thing, right? We watch animes for enjoyment and entertainment, not to, not to say that I have watched it, right? We gotta keep that into perspective. So if you are here all the way, I'm assuming that you have enjoyed this as well. Alright, so that about concludes my thoughts on this episode and this series in general. Thank you guys all for coming along. If you found my channel because of this series, well, you're welcome to go around and look. I do lots of different animes as well. Typically, my style is more towards the analysis, and I like to dive deeper into an anime and talk about the mechanics and whatnot, or theories and processes behind it. For this work in particular, there's not really much I can do about it. It's more just, a reaction to the comedy and action, if you will. But if you like my style, or if you do like something that is more maybe mandated upon predictions, theory crafting, and that sort of thing, feel free to check out my other works. And if not, hey, that is cool, right? So thank you guys for coming along for at least this ride. So, I hope I can see you again. If not, I wish you guys all the best. This is Maverick signing off. Bye-bye.